أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum dear viewers, welcome to Jameel TV. We have been studying the commentary of Surah 105 Al-Fil from the Holy Quran, and it is our last episode on this topic. Earlier we have studied the historical background and what brought Abraha to attack the Kaaba. Beside wishing to control the trade routes up to Syria, it was an effort to impose Christian rule in the Arabian Peninsula. Abraham led an army of 60,000 strong men, and the special feature of this army was inclusion of 13 elephants to dismantle Kabatullah. As the Quraysh and other Arab tribes were no match to this strong army, so Allah decided to intervene directly into the matter to protect His house. And He sent small birds called ababeel with small pebbles carrying in their beaks to destroy this strong army of men and elephants. Now we study the theme and substance of the surah in the perspective of its historical event. If Surah Al-Fil study in the light of historical details as given earlier, one can fully understand why in this surah only Allah's inflicting his punishment on the people of the elephant has been referred and described so briefly. It was an event of recent occurrence, and everyone in Makkah and Arabia was fully aware of it. The Arabs believed that the Kaaba had been protected in this invasion not by any god or goddesses, but by Allah Almighty Himself. Then Allah alone had been invoked by the Quraysh chiefs for help, and for quite a few years the people of Quraysh, having been impressed by this event, had worshipped none but Allah. Therefore, there was no need to mention the details in Surah Al-Fil, but only a reference to it was enough so that the people of Quraysh in particular, and the people of Arabia in general should consider well in their hearts the message that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu was giving. For the only message that he gave was that they should worship and serve none but Allah, the only and one. Then they should also consider that if they used force to suppress this invitation to the truth, they would only be inviting the wrath of Allah, who had so completely routed and destroyed the people of the elephant. Now let us examine this momentous event. When we examine the surah's content, the following is transpired. Are you not aware how your Lord dealt with the people of the elephant? Verse 1. It is a question that draws attention to the wonders involved in the incident itself and stresses its great significance. The incident was so well known to the Arabs that they used to consider it a sort of beginning of history. They would say this incident happened in the year of the elephant, and that even took place 2 years before the year of the elephant, or this dates to 10 years after the year of elephant. It is well known that the Prophet ﷺ was born in the year of elephant itself. This is perhaps one of the fascinatingly perfect arrangements of divine will. Surah then is not relating to the Arabs something that they did not know. It is reminder of an event well known to them, aiming at achieving something beyond actual remembrance of it. After this opening note, the surah tells the rest of the story in the form of a rhetorical question. Did he not utterly confound their treacherous plan? Verse 2. This means that the designs of the people of the elephant were useless, incapable of achieving anything at all. They were like someone who had lost his way and thus could not arrive at his destination. Perhaps this is a reminder to the Quraysh of the grace Allah bestowed on them when He protected and preserved the house at a time when they felt too weak to face the mighty aggressors, the people of the elephant. Such remembrance was perhaps intentionally meant to make them feel their disgrace when they persistently denied Allah after He had helped them out of their weakness. It may also curb their conceit and heavy-handedness in their treatment of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the few believers who supported him. Allah destroyed the powerful aggressor who wanted to pull down his house, which serves as a sanctuary for all people. Allah then may destroy the new aggressors who try to persecute His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam and suppress his message. The Quran portrays superbly how the aggressor's defeat was brought about. Did he not send against them flocks of birds, which pelted them with stones of sand and clay? Thus he made them like stacks of devoured leaves. Verse 3 to 5. The birds flew in flocks. The Quran uses a Persian term, sijil, which denotes stones and clay, to describe the substance with which the bird struck the aggressor. The dry leaves are described as devoured to denote that insects or other animal had eaten them. It is a vivid image of physical shattering of the Abyssinian army as they were stricken with these muddy stones. There is no need to go into such explanation as that it was an allegorical description of their destruction by smallpox or measles. The Arabs and Islam. The significance of this event is far reaching and lessons deduced from its mention in the Quran are numerous. It is first suggests that Allah did not want the idolaters to take responsibility for protecting his house, in spite of the fact that they held it in deep respect and sought its security. When he willed to preserve the house and made it clear that he himself was its protector, he left the idolaters to their defeat by the Abyssinians. Divine will then directly intervene to repel the aggressions and preserve his sacred house. Thus, the idolater did not have a chance to hold the protection of the house as a favor they did to God, or as an act of honor if they had done so. They would have been prompted by fanatic Jahiliya impulses. This point gives considerable weight to the argument that the divine will of destroying the aggressors was accomplished through preternatural rules. This direct intervention by Allah to protect the house should have prompted the Quraysh and the rest of the Arabian tribes to embrace Islam. Then the divine religion, when it was conveyed to them by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, surely their respect and guardianship of the house and the paganism they spread around it should not have been their reason for rejecting Islam. God's reminder to them of this event is a part of the Quranic criticism of their stand, drawing attention to their amazing stubbornness. The event also suggests that Allah did not allow the people of earlier revelations, represented in this case by Abraha and his army, to destroy the sacred house or to impose their authority over the Holy Land, even when it was surrounded by the impurity of idolatry and idolaters were its custodians. Thus, the house remained free from any human authority save against all wicked designs. God preserved the freedom of their land in order that the new faith would develop there completely free, not subjected to the authority of any despot. Allah revealed this religion as the force which supersedes all other religions. He wanted it to take over the leadership of humanity. Allah's will concerning his house and religion was accomplished long before any human being knew what that the Prophet ﷺ, who was to convey the new message, was human, was born in the same year. We are reassured when we realize this aspect of the significance of the event. We know the wicked ambitions of international imperialist forces and world Zionism, and concerning the Holy Lands, we realize that these forces spare no effort to achieve their wicked ambitions, but we are not worried, for God, who protected his house against the aggressions of the people of earlier revelation, when its custodian were idolaters, will protect it again, if he wills, just as he will protect Medina, his messenger's city, against the wicked designs of the evildoers. Moreover, the event refers to the reality of the Arabian situation at that time. The Arabs did not have any role to play on the face of the earth. They did not even have an identity of their own before Islam. In the Yemen, they were subjugated by either Persians or Abyssinians. If they had any government of their own, it was under the protection of the Persians. In the north, Syria was subject to Byzantine rule, which was either direct or in the shape of an Arab government under Byzantine protection. Only the heartland of the Arabian Peninsula escaped foreign rule, but this was in a state of tribalism and division which deprived it of any weight. In the world politics, tribal warfare could drag on for 40 years or longer, but neither individually nor as a group did these tribes count as a power in the eyes of the mighty empires neighboring them. What happened with regard to the Abyssinian aggression was a correct assessment of these tribes' real strength when faced with a foreign aggressor. Under Islam, the Arab had, for the first time in history, an international role to play. They also had a powerful state to be taken into consideration by world powers. They possessed a sweeping force that destroyed thrones, conquered empires, and brought down false, deviating, and ignorant leaderships in order to take over the leadership of mankind. But what facilitated these achievements for the Arabs for the first time in their history was that they forgot their Arabism. They forgot racial urges and fanaticism. They remembered that they were Muslims and Muslims only. They carried the message of a forceful and all all comprehensive faith which they delivered to humanity with mercy and compassion. They did not uphold any sort of nationalism or factionalism. They were the exponents of a divine idea which gave mankind a divine, not earthly, doctrine to be applied as a way of life. They left their homes to struggle for the cause of Allah alone. They were not after the establishment of an Arab empire under which they might live in luxury and conceit. Their aim was not subjugate other nations to their own rule after freeing them from the rule of the Byzantine or Persians. It was an aim clearly defined by Rabi'a ibn Amir, the Muslim messenger to the Persian commander, when he said in the latter's headquarters, Allah ordered us to set out in order to save humanity from the worship of creatures and to bring it to the worship of Allah alone, to save it from the narrowness of this life so that it may look forward to the broadness of the life hereafter, and from the oppression of other religions so that it may enjoy the justice of Islam. Then and only then did the Arabs have an identity, a power, and a leadership, but all of these were devoted to Allah alone. They possessed their power and leadership as long as they followed the right path, but when they deviated and followed their narrow nationalistic ideas, and when they substituted for the banners of Islam that of factional bonds, they came under subjugation by other nations, for Allah deserted them whenever they deserted Him. He neglected them as they neglected Him. What are the Arabs without Islam? What is the ideology that they hold or they can give to humanity if they abandon Islam? What value can a nation have without an ideology which it presents to the world? Every nation which assumed the leadership of humanity in any period of history advanced an ideology. Nations which did not, such as the Tatars who swept over the east or the Barbars who crushed the Roman empires in the west, could not survive for long. They were assimilated by the nations they conquered. The only ideology the Arabs advanced for mankind was the Islamic faith, which raised them to the position of human leadership. If they forsake it, they will no longer have any function or role to play in human history. The Arabs should remember this well if they want to live and be powerful and assume the leadership of the mankind. It is God who provides guidance for us, lest we go astray. Alhamdulillah, we have completed the study of this surah. May Allah bless us with the true understanding of the Quranic message contained in this surah and to follow the right path. Ameen. Jazakallah khair.